Good morning, everybody. Starting off a little later than I would like today. Uh, actually, I'm gonna just be real with you here for a minute or two. I always am, but I'm also a very positive person too. Just gonna be real here for a couple seconds. It might sound negative at first, but it's not. I just want to let you know some of the struggles. Last night was miserable. Like I said, the only campsite was in like 10, 15 miles. I can't remember the exact amount, but it's too much to go last night. It was unfortunately right next to water. I didn't want to be right next to water. Close to water is one thing, but right next to it, with as cold as it's been getting, I knew that it would be very cold. It was much colder than what I thought it was going to be. There was, well, first of all, I kept waking up in the middle of the night. The runners from the race, apparently that went all night long too, because they just kept running by. And unfortunately, none of them seemed to have the respect of being quiet, because other people might be sleeping in campsites. They're just like carrying on, laughing, making all kinds of noises as they're running by. And honestly, that didn't even really bother me that much because I wake up all the time anyway. But every time I woke up, I was like, oh, I'm nice and toasty. It's not that cold yet. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, it just turned from me being toasty to me being shivering and freezing. Oh my gosh, I put all my layers on. I did everything I could to stay warm. And then I realized I have condensation in my tent. Then it gets even colder. Miserable all night with dreams. I'm just going to admit it. I'm going to admit it. I'm horny as heck right now. It's a part of this thing that I don't know that too many people talk about, but you're out here by yourself all the time. And yeah, maybe it's because it was like so cold last night. Would have loved to have just a lady to warm me up. But anyway, I digress. That horniness, I think, led me to miserable dreams. I had a dream that I was about ready to get it on with this lady. I don't know who this lady is, so don't ask. And she told me I needed to go brush my teeth because I had been out in the woods for months. Now that's hilarious. I don't care. As miserable as this night was, that was hilarious. So I go in to brush my teeth in this bathroom, and I come out into this other room where I guess our bedroom was, and there was like 10 kids there. I couldn't do anything. Oh my goodness. I remember that from when the kids were small. But anyway, then I was having dreams about being on the top of cliffs and the trail giving out on me. So waking up all anxious and stuff. Just one of those nights of stress and misery. Just ice cold. Had to use the restroom a couple times. That made it even colder. Got up like 4:30, something like that. Thought, okay, I'll go do what I did yesterday. I'm having trouble sleeping. This will at least warm me up. My headlamp's not working. I can't get it working. Just completely miserable and cold, and it's starting to get to me to the point like, man, I'm kind of missing home and missing the comfort of warmth. Maybe I'll call it a day and just get out of here. And not to mention my back and having its horrible pain yesterday. Still hurting. Even this morning, didn't get any rest, I guess, because of the cold and probably stiffening up all night long. Have to use the restroom, number 2. And I can't do that because I'm too cold, so hopefully after I get walking here a couple miles, warm up and my body functions will start working again. But I was kind of freaking out last night of hypothermia. It's one of my top 3 things that, it's really the only 3 things that I'm worried about out here. One is, as you know, like sketchy trails on top of cliffs and ridge lines that could give away. Those get to me. Also rushing water, crossing rushing water. And then I think the third one is hypothermia, because a lot of times it sneaks up on you, from what I've heard, and you don't really know. And then all of a sudden you start getting confused and you don't even know, and then that's when you could die. And yeah, so there's only been a couple times on trail I got that cold at night where I started to worry about it. Last night was one of them, because I had everything on. Anyway, I don't want to make this too long. So I'm having an emotional morning, just really struggling. I'm still a little emotional, but a lot better than I was when I was getting my tent set up or taken down and everything. But just everything hurts. The misery of sleep and not sleeping, my tent's soaked. I'm like, how am I going to get this dry for tonight when I need to sleep? And all these stresses. You know, when's the next water? Is it going to warm up today? And then, 3 guys that was in a campsite down a little deeper into the woods than where I was came over to me this morning and said, we have some stuff for you. Now, remember, in Timberline, I had to throw my pepperoni away because it was bad. I wasn't able to resupply because I couldn't catch the bus, so I had to resupply out of vending machines. It wasn't pepperoni, it was snacks, chips and stuff. So one of the guys comes over with this huge link of pepperoni and says, hey, would you like some pepperoni? I'd like to give this to you if you would take it. And then another one of the guys comes over. Says, hey, I got a couple meals for you. Here's some dehydrated blueberries. And they just like give me a bunch of food. Said, we want to help you on your way. This journey rips your soul out and then puts it all back together. Sorry, I'm being emotional. But here I am having a miserable day, miserable morning, miserable night. And the generosity of these guys like take it all away. Like I said yesterday, the trail provides when you feel beaten down and wondering if you can really go on. Strength finds a way to push its way through. We're going to seize the day today. All these beautiful greens. You got the dark, you got the light ones like lime. So pretty. I don't know, most of you already know this, I'm sure, that humans see more shades of green than any other color. Something about that natural predator in us, you know, that was made for hunting. Might want to look that up because I'm going on memory there and I might have it a little off, but that's it in a nutshell. But it's so beautiful seeing all these different shades of green. Still can't wait to see the different colors, like fall colors and such, but I love seeing this beautiful green and deep dark forest. So beautiful, even if you do see it mile after mile for a while here. It's just gorgeous. I just heard a cub growl. If you've never heard a cub growl, it's a very distinct sound. Coming from over here somewhere. So I'm keeping my eyes peeled. I don't want to run into a cub or mama. Bears will leave you alone unless they're starving or to protect their family, which is totally understandable. Respect. So I'm just keeping my eyes peeled. If I see them in the distance, get a nice shot. Camera shot, I mean. That'd be nice. I'm not seeing right now. I can see pretty far in there. But there's a lot of trees. They could be hidden behind trees or other obstacles, logs, or maybe something else. I did start saying, hey bear, after I heard it. So they might have ran off too. I've always wondered, why do we say, hey bear? What if the bear thinks that we're calling it instead of trying to scare it away? What if it comes running like, hey dog, and the dog comes running? What if the bear's confused, like, oh, well, yeah, I'm here, I'm a bear. So I just stopped to take care of some business and went in there, I don't know, maybe 50 yards or so. Nice log, I always look for a nice log off the trail. Someday I might do a video on how to poop properly in the woods to make it easy on you and to do it the proper way for nature's sake. I know that to a lot of you that's watching this, that's just common sense, but there's a lot of people that want to go backpacking or do a thru-hike and really not sure on how to do that, and it's not a question that most people are comfortable asking. So maybe I'll do that someday. But anyway, one thing I do want to say right now is always make sure you leave your backpack close to the trail, because I went in there like straight, boom. Somehow when I took off that way, and I came down there on that part of the trail. Like, oh man, it's the first time I've done that. So I started walking this way, hoping that I left my backpack here and not the other direction. Either way, I knew I was within like 50 to 100 yards of it, but here it is right here. I usually don't leave it on a tree. I would normally leave it right here on the trail. You know, that way also somebody's walking by knows that there's probably somebody back there doing business, so kind of lets them know. But I put it against that tree this time, a little off trail, so it was a little less visible when I started walking through. And it's dark, kind of blends in with the darkness of the forest, but always make sure you leave your backpack where you can see it after you're done, because if you do what I just did, start veering off to the right or left because of down trees, you might end up getting off your path a little bit, but that's what they make maps for too. Just for clarification, I don't poop on logs. I always look for a log to lean against to where I dig my hole. Just wanted to clarify that. There's a pretty view. Just a little bit of a break, but in the trees. But there's going to be some more coming because I'm climbing straight up. Have been for a while, but this is more along a ridge. So I think once I get to the top, there's a saddle where it's pretty good views, but we'll find out. Obviously getting much closer to Jefferson Wilderness and Mount Jefferson, so everything's going to start opening up a lot more at that point. But cool views, even in the forest, it's cool, but this is nice to see the mountains in the background. Just a little change back to a nice little rocky section of path here, but even better is this. There's a nice view. Basically what I'm walking through, foresty mountains. Nice view though. Nice little open spot. Thankful for that. Some nice sunshine. Went about 7 or 8 miles so far, and about 1900 in elevation. Feeling strong. Had a little bit of an emotional morning, and just the right thing happened at the right time to bring back the strength, and it's pushed me through today. Feeling strong today, feeling like it's still going to continue to be a great day, but you never know what's going to happen. Things can always happen, but as always, ready for what this journey is going to bring. All right, technically that last one was not Pinhead Saddle. It was a little further down, but about 7 miles I just checked so far today, 2060 in elevation. This is still considered the Warm Springs Indian Reservation area. I don't think that lasts much longer, to be honest. Trying to make it to Olallie Lake today. There's a general store there, and that's probably where I'll camp. But I think it's about another 12 miles or so. But the general store would be great. Get some other supplies. When I say supplies, I mean food that I need, that I want. You know, to continue on even a little further, because I was supposed to go about another 30 or 40 miles past that, and have somebody give me a ride, a trail angel, into Bend or Sisters. No, Bend, I'm sorry. He was going to take me to Bend, and then skip around some fire section where the trail is still closed. Might not be closed by then, but I might not make it by the time he's going over. He's leaving work. He's a firefighter, and he's going over a pass there. And so if he's not, I do have other options. So just going to play it by ear, but obviously I need more food if I'm going to go another 20 or 30 miles past that to where my next junction, which would be right up to the trail closer. Some people are doing it, some people aren't, because it is still smoky. I'm going to come into an area here a little later. I don't know if it'll be today or tomorrow. but it was burnt pretty bad 2 years ago in mm, Lion's Head, Lion's Head fire, and I'm hearing that it's still hot, it's still smoky there. So we'll see. They just opened that trail a few weeks ago, from what I've been told. So we'll see what that's like, and then, if I could go through that, that way I get to see, the north side of Sisters Mountains before I have to get off the trail and go around it, and then I'll see the south side, and Mount Washington as well. So playing it by ear, like I always do. But I definitely want to try to get to Olallie today. Definitely in my wheelhouse as far as miles. I think it's about a total of 20 miles or so. A lot of incline today, but I just, like I said, knocked out 2,000, and I feel strong. It didn't really feel like 2,000 of elevation, so it was nice and gradual, I guess. Either that, or I just have a pep in my step. I'm going like 2.7 too, 2.7 miles per hour, which is kind of high for me going uphill. That's normal for me before the back fracture, but ever since the back fracture, I definitely, and with the weight on my back, I have not been going that speed uphill. So I'm glad to be doing that today. Feeling strong. Yes. Rough start, but so far good for the day. I'm going to sit here and have a beef jerky and Snickers snack, and then continue on. See you on the trail. I don't know if you can see them up there, but there's some buzzards, and they come way down low, but right now they're over there. They were over here, which is where I'm walking. Trail. So I don't know what they're circling around, but there's something down here that they're circling around that's dead and food for them. This is pretty here. Not really sure what these are. Almost look like something that I'd seen in the desert. Wow, this is the most exposed I've been in those 45 miles since Mount Hood. It's wide open, and it looks like it's going to be wide open for a while. Wow, a lot of damage down there. Back in the forest again, but this is a different type of forest, not deep and dark, more open. Sun breaks through about half of it, I'd say, as you're walking. Some shadow, some shade, and some sunlight. As you can see, the leaves aren't all touching and covering up at the top, so plenty of room to break through. All kinds of different forests out here on this journey in Oregon. So I'm at this little off-trail spring. Trail is that direction. I only come down here a little bit, but this is the water. It's not flowing in the least bit. I would not call it stagnant. That part over there looks a little stagnant, but it's just like weeds and stuff at the top. It's not like it's green or anything like that. But let me show you. So get down here, and I always use the Mountain Dew, like I said, to scoop. But so if I get over here, if I go way down, and I'll scoop that up, that is crystal clear, and it is ice cold. It is. I filter it anyway, but it reminds me of the desert, the desert water, except it's cold and it's plenty of it. So there was a lot of comments on the Far Out app about this water being stagnant and gross. And like, man, you think you all forget what the desert was like you're happy when you come across this. But there was another one in 0.4 miles that was supposed to be worse than this or similar or whatever. Like, well, why might as well just do it right now? And then you go about another 10 miles before the next water. So it's nice and cold and it will filter nicely. I'm going to sit and have my freaking pepperoni and peanut butter tortilla lunch, and then I'm going to head on out again. Peanut butter and sliced pepperoni tortilla. Shoes are off. Socks are drying out. Shirts are drying out. Feet are resting. Nice clear water. Guess what? Fortune is one happy hiker. Here's a section of forest that is open at the top to where the sun comes in, but more vegetation down below. So not quite as open at the bottom. So many different types. It's like you could be at the forest. I mean, there was one section yesterday just seemed to be the same thing over and over and over for miles, but it's like so many different types of forest and woods and wilderness. Love it. Got to pay attention, keep your eyes open, and just take it all in. Looks like over there is a little bit of a meadow. Kind of similar to where I got that water. Back a little bit. But it's beautiful. Rocks. Christmassy looking trees. Trees with all kinds of moss. And big, beautiful, I don't know, evergreen pine, spruce, I don't really know. All I know is it's beautiful. As we're getting closer to Jefferson, there are a few more rocks, it looks like, starting to pop up, because I have heard that the Jefferson wilderness is a little more rocky than the Mount Hood wilderness. So we shall see, but I welcome all changes to my journey. And here is beautiful Jude Lake. Right back here is a big mountain that you could see from over there. Really cool mountain. Pointed trees all the way to the very top, and it's just rock. But unfortunately, the trees kind of blocked it from any video. You might have seen it on the still picture that I took. But that would have been a great shot. But oh well, can't always have the best shots. And then we just cross this bridge and back into the forest for another few miles until our next store to get some more food and probably camp for the night. I seen this and I'm like, what? I thought I was already in Mount Hood National Forest. And I remembered I was in the Warm Springs Indian Reservation for like the last 40 miles. So that's why. So now we're back. Left the reservation apparently and back in Mount Hood National Forest. And I think this only goes for another 15 or 20 miles or so. And then becomes Jefferson National Forest. Here is some coloring down there with some fire damage. And then there's that big mountain I was telling you about that you could see behind that lake. Really cool. It's all trees. And then up there at the point is rock and dirt and stone. Looks really cool. First time I've seen this sign. Been in several burn areas, but this is the most recent one, I guess. Only in 2020. And Lion's Head, I believe was the name of it. I hope that's right. But get ready to start going through here. Where I'm going is Olallie Lake. There's a store there, and that's where I'm going to be going to get some resupply and maybe some food for today and tonight, and resupply for the next few days on top of what I already have, and probably camp there tonight. But we'll find out when we get there. See what the future holds on the trail. So we begin again. Well, I've never seen this sign before either. All kinds of new things right here in this little spot. This is odd because it almost looks like a black and white world. Hardly any green or other colors. And you have the charred tree trunks with the white or light branches or gray branches. And then you come up here and you have these white branches or white tree trunks. Same thing over here, except in the distance where it gets a little bit more green. And this is supposed to be just the beginning. It's supposed to get much worse after Lake Olallie. Wow, the damage is unreal. These trees are much smaller than the big ones we've seen close to Cascade Locks, or about 10 to 20 miles of the first part of Cascade Locks area. And the ground is burnt. It's definitely a lot different. A lot more recent damage, you could tell. It just gets worse. It's like total destruction. No wonder they couldn't open this one in like 2 years. I'm sure they had to do a lot of cleanup and removal and repair to the trail to even make it walkable. I've been in houses after they burnt and been totaled, and that's about the closest thing I can think of what this looks like. It's very sad and heartbreaking. Apparently I wanted to come back to this big rock. I just walked like a mile past this rock, after the rock I should say, and realized I left my water bottle up there. It's only half full. Would have been real easy to just leave it and keep walking, but I do believe in leaving no trace. Take your stuff with you. And behind all that burn section is the first really good view of Mount Jefferson. Getting very close. So here I am at Lake Olallie. This is the general store for the resort. The resort is just a bunch of very primitive cabins. It's a really cool place. Wouldn't mind coming here sometime when I'm not doing the PCT. No showers or anything like that, just cabins where you can sleep and basically camp rustic style. Went to the store though, picked up a couple Mountain Dews and a Gatorade. That's going down within an hour. And I got some chips, some graham crackers, Pop-Tarts and ramen to top off what I need for food. but they also open at 7 in the morning, so I'll probably get more, maybe even more tonight before they close. I just wanted, oh, as you can see, my tent there, I have that up and airing out the dampness that's still in it. It's nice and sunny and warm today, and so hopefully that will air it out. The owners told me that I guess the next 5 miles on the other side of this that I have to go through tomorrow is actually even worse than what I just went through. So it's too bad. I'm not looking forward to that, but I am at the same time because I want to see it. So here is Lake Olallie. Yeah, I've been saying it all day, and now I can't remember how to say it. But that right there is Mount Jefferson, which we're going towards tomorrow. I think we're right next to it at some point tomorrow, or at least the next day. It's beautiful. It's a nice little lake, paddle boats, canoes and stuff. Gorgeous place. In the middle of a burn.